Have you ever experienced something so crippling in your life that has made you feel broken? I have. Are you someone who has a giving heart but is struggling to feel good themselves? Are you consistently putting your needs aside to take care of everyone else? If so, you're not alone. Giving starts with giving to yourself so that you are able to give of yourself to other people. Isn't it time you took back control and discovered what makes you tick? Join me in my journey and find out how you can feel better about yourself, live your best life, and share that with others. Thinking of yourself, it doesn't make you selfish, it makes you brave. I'm Nelia, and this is the Giving Starts With You podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Giving Starts With You podcast. I'm your host, Nelia Hutt. I'm very, very grateful to have this next guest on. Her name is Cynthia Zhai. Did I say that properly, Cynthia?
Yes, very well.
Wonderful. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I am doing very well.
Great. I know you're joining us from Singapore. Oh my goodness,
Yes,
this is fabulous. And it's like, I appreciate it so much because you said it's like 11 o'clock at night there. So thank you for your dedication and for your commitment to join me today. I appreciate that.
sure.
So I'll tell you a little bit about Cynthia. Cynthia is a voice coach. She's a professional speaker as well. She's a best-selling author. She's also a TEDx speaker. Her talk is called Transformational Power of Your Voice. She's also helped professionals from 46 different countries across 6 continents to speak with a powerful voice. Cynthia has been a professional speaker and coach for the past 18 years, and her engagement spans over 5 continents in 18 countries. She also has over 40,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel, and you honestly need to check it out. Her videos are very powerful. So thank you. It's an honor to have you here today.
Sure. Thank you, Nelia.
No problem. So, I need to ask, how did you first become interested or introduced to the voice coaching?
I was performing in singing when I was in schools. And that was where I've learned the singing voice. And the singing voice, there are still differences between singing voice and speaking voices. So when I was in my first job, I realized that because of my personality, I was very introverted. I am still an introvert, but now I'm more outgoing.
Yes.
So, because I was introverted and as my first job, I was not very assertive. I was also not speaking up. So a friend of mine, she told me, oh, you need to work on assertiveness. And so that's where I started my journey to improve myself. And I stumbled upon working on the speaking voice as well. So that's where I've learned more about speaking voices.
I love that because as an introvert as well, it's scary to talk and, to do public speaking and but the more you do it, the more comfortable you do it. And there is a skill to it. So I see a lot of people using that with you. I think that's phenomenal. We also come from a musical background, so I totally understand about the singing voice part, but I'm really intrigued on the other. So thank you so much. So if you could just let us know a little bit about your background and yeah, just a little bit about what your life's like.
Um, so I think I was always sharing with my clients, my students, that it doesn't matter that there's no difference between strengths or weaknesses. It's always that you need to find what you like or what you are unique about you. So once you find that and you put in the right place, then you would enjoy what you do. So I think I enjoy what I do. I enjoy help people. I enjoy seeing the change in people. And so that's what my life is mostly about, helping people from different parts of the world. Uh, and at the same time, I also love traveling. So like you. And before the pandemic, I was also lucky enough to be able to speak in different parts of the world. So whenever I finish my speaking engagement, I'll be staying for a few more weeks to travel around the region.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. What was your favorite place to visit?
Oh, I love Europe, the Alps.
Oh, I haven't been there. I've been to Europe, but not there. That's amazing. Love it. So, isn't it true that when we help other people, we get so much in return? Like sometimes we get more than what we give, and it's unexpected.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I think, for example, this February, there was one client I finished working. And then he asked me in the last session, he said, what did you see the change in me? So I said the biggest change was not just voice I saw in you. The biggest change I saw in you was that you become happier. And so because when he came to me, he was almost in the, I wouldn't say clinically depressed, but in a very low state. And so when we worked with him, and I started to see the change in him, and started to see that he became happier. And that made me feel more fulfilled, knowing that what I do can. It was from another friend. He said, "You are changing other people's lives." And the moment he said that, I said, "Oh, I was." So I think that was something that made what I do become more meaningful.
It's true.
Yeah.
There are so many unhappy people walking around this earth, and
Yes.
sometimes it doesn't take a lot, sometimes it just takes somebody to notice and say, I'm here. And sometimes it only takes some engagement with that person. And I know from experience as well, giving to others is what helped me. Like I've been to therapy, I've been to grief counseling, but the one thing that really helped me was the feeling that I received back. That helped me feel better about who I was. That made me feel better about the world. It gave me a new perspective on humanity. It made me more accepting, forgiving. So it is a beautiful thing. And you can give back in so many ways. It does not have to do with money. People think, oh, I don't have money, I cannot give. I always say giving your time is free and giving love is free. So it's just trying to think of things in a different way, because we get fulfilled. We become at peace with ourselves, and the other person, you don't know down the line how much they're going to be affected.
Yes, and also when we help another person, for example, this client, when he became happier, it was not only just benefiting him, but also benefiting people around him. And he would have a better relationship with his wife, with his kids, and of course with his colleagues.
Yes, I almost called my podcast "Help One Heal Many," because
Ah,
that's how I feel. You heal
yes,
the mother in the family,
yeah,
and the whole family is healed. The
yes,
community, people on the other side of the world. It's like a ripple effect. It really is contagious, I think.
it is, yes. And it reminded me of another client. It was 2 years ago. So also that she was rejected for promotion twice. And when she came to me, she was also quite in a low state, and she was looking for other jobs, but also rejected. So when we were working with her, and I started to help her sound more confident, and so she became more confident as well, and she also started to become happier. And at the end of the session, she was sharing with me, she said, my family, I felt that my relationship with my family became better as well.
It's great because her outlook
So
was different, right? When you
yes,
feel better
yes,
about you, like people can tell. If you're having
that's right.
struggles within yourself,
Yeah,
you're not, people don't want to be around you as much, too, right?
yeah, yeah. And also when we are not happy, then not only that people can see that, but also they will be affected. Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah, I was watching one of your YouTube videos and you were talking about fulfillment.
Yes.
and how we're always waiting for the next best thing. We're never satisfied. Maybe you could talk a little bit about, because
Sure.
you told a story on your
Yeah.
channel about
Yes.
the jet. So if you
Yes.
don't mind giving us a little bit about that, I would love for the
Sure.
audience to hear it.
Yeah, it was interesting story, but it was reflecting so much about what's happening in our society today. That it was a true story. A person, a writer who wants to write a book about wealth, how to be wealthy, how to feel more fulfilled. And he said, okay, maybe that if I interview a millionaire, he must be fulfilled. He can buy whatever he wants. So he interviewed this millionaire. He said, you have so much money. Do you feel fulfilled? And this millionaire said, no, I don't feel fulfilled. I don't have a private jet.
That was his
So,
measurement. Yeah.
yeah. So then he thought, okay, then I will interview someone who does have a private jet. So he went to interview a billionaire. And he said, wow, you have a private jet. You must feel fulfilled. And this billionaire said, no, I don't feel fulfilled. My private jet is too small.
But isn't it true? Like,
Yeah.
we always want to wait. Like, I'll have kids when I have enough money. I'll buy a house when this. I'll try to, work on my self esteem when this happens. I'll try to trust when this happens. That day will never come. You have to create it.
And also our perspective is putting in the wrong place. We are looking at what we don't have. I don't have that private jet. My private jet can only host 2 people. So we are not looking at what we already have. That's why that people are not feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, that's one thing that COVID, I think, is teaching. We need to be more grateful for the
Yes.
little things. There are so many
Yeah.
people around the world that don't have any belongings and and they're fulfilled.
Mm. Yes.
It's almost like the less you have, the more grateful you are.
Yeah. And you saw that people in underdeveloped countries, they actually are happier.
They are.
Yeah, even though they don't have all the things that we have. They don't have a big house, they don't have a car. So, but they're happier.
But I think, they work more with the earth. They have
Mm.
less time on electronics. They have more time with their families. They're tuned
Yes.
into what really matters. I think that that's why.
Yes, that's right. I forgot who said it, but recently I was listening to an interview that the person said that one of the things that we are, if we want to feel more fulfilled, we need to get out of our rooms, our house, to go into the nature. So that's like what you said, to get more in touch with the earth. So we're not in touch with nature, we're not in touch with the earth.
We're so distracted by
Yes.
so many things. And although we have families and although, most of us live with other people, we're so disassociated with the people
Mm-hmm.
in our own homes because
Yeah.
we're all attached. And I'm guilty of this as well. Like, nobody is perfect, but as long as you're aware, then changes can happen. We're all focused looking down. People are going out for dinner and they're all texting each other and they're sitting there together. And you just, a lot of what you can tell about somebody is looking up and looking at them, seeing
Mm.
their face, their emotion, their body language, and I think we're really depriving ourselves of that these days.
Yes, yes. So a friend of mine, he used to print all those smiley faces. And whenever he went to the supermarket and when he left the checkout counter, he will give that smiley face to that cashier.
Oh, I
Yeah, he
love
was doing
that.
all those small things, yeah, to make another person happy.
See, it's a small thing, but it's not because
Yeah.
it's something unexpected. And the things that are unexpected are the best gifts of all.
Yes.
He's giving himself a gift and he's giving something special to somebody else. That's great.
Yes. Yeah.
Such a beautiful gesture. And small but not small.
Yeah. That's
That's
right.
amazing. So, if you could just talk a little bit about what is the best part of what you do? Is it the transformations you see in your client?
Yes. So that's one. One thing is the transformation in them. So when they were able to become more, not only more confident about themselves, but also more accepting themselves. So a lot of times when I was working with my clients, I realized there was a lot of unconscious rejection of themselves, and of course that was the old me. So I saw, that's why sometimes I told them I told them, I said, I saw the old me in you. So that's also the other thing, because you see all these chaos, all those wars, all those things in our world today was at the fundamental level. I believe that it is because we don't accept ourselves. So that's why we go outside of ourselves to do all kinds of weird things to make us feel good. But if we can accept ourselves, then we wouldn't do all those things to validate that.
Yeah, and I don't know about you and where you come from, but for me, we weren't taught that. We were taught,
Mm.
give to other people, but we weren't taught it's important to take care of ourselves. That's why I
Yeah,
loved
same.
how we connected with, in the start of my episode, I talk about, are you someone who has a giving heart and struggling, to feel good yourself? So many of
Yeah.
us that are givers,
Mm.
we burn out because we don't take care of ourselves. And you said you
Yes.
had a little bit of experience with that previously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So I think it's the same here, that we were not taught, or we were taught to be selfless, not
Yes.
selfish. Yeah. So that's why that we're not in touch with ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves. And also because of the education, we thought that that is selfish.
Yes, or conceited, or just
Yes.
why would you want to do that? You're putting yourself above other people. But
Yeah.
if you're miserable and you don't take time to take care of yourself, nobody's going to want to be around you, first of all. And
Yes.
what can you give, really?
Yeah.
You cannot
That's
give
why we're
something you don't have.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the saying, that you cannot give other people water if you have an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so, what is the biggest gift that you have given to yourself that changed all that? What was the one thing that you think, you gave to yourself to be able to grow?
Mm. Um, it is to it is first to really look at what is it that I am, what are the ways that I am not loving myself. I am not taking care of myself. So once I am clear about all the different ways, and then the second step that I did is to learn the different ways, to learn from different teachers, that how to love myself, how to accept myself, how to take care of myself.
So, did you realize that you needed to start doing it because, like me, I was like burnt out and tired? Like, how did you recognize that it was time to maybe make a change?
There are many things. Well, for example, one of them was that this not not feeling the peace. I feel frustrated. I felt that resentment. So when I noticed all those things, and then I started to dive deep to look at what made me feel frustrated, what made me feel resentful. And then one of the fundamental reasons was that I was not accepting myself. I was also not putting myself first.
Thank
So
you for saying that, because I think that's quite common. A lot of us, as human beings, we feel that way.
mm,
We don't know why we're quick to respond to something, or we're maybe
yes,
angry or frustrated, and we don't understand where it's coming from sometimes.
mm,
So this is a
yes,
good thing to maybe sit back and think, well, if nothing really happened to make me upset, why do I have all this tension?
Yeah.
Why am I tired? Why am I not feeling happy? So I'm glad that
Yes.
so thank you for being honest about that, because I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, for example, it can be as simple as someone said something in the past. Someone said something, and then I didn't feel happy about it, but I didn't say anything. So I thought, oh, it's not good to say that to that person. But then what happens would be that I would become resentful about that person.
Yes,
So,
everyone
and
does
then I
it.
realized, yes, then I realized there are some things that I need to also express how I feel. So that's one of the things that we need to put ourselves first, that we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of our feelings. We also need to set boundaries for ourselves so that we can love ourselves. Once we can love ourselves, then you can love other people from a genuine place. Yeah.
We do have to set boundaries, and it's okay. It's okay to say no. You don't have to take everything
Yes.
on. Take what serves you, serve other
Yes.
people, and then let it go. It's not easy, but when
Yes.
you realize that what it would look like on the other side of that, then you will try hard to achieve it.
Yes. Just by setting the boundaries, it took me quite a few years because in the beginning, I couldn't figure out why do we need to set boundaries. So, in two of the different programs that I went through, I was asking those teachers, I said, why do we need to set boundaries? Shouldn't we be nice to other people? So, unfortunately, I didn't get a very satisfied answer from those two teachers. But over the years, I've realized that the reason we set boundaries is also to honor our own feelings. It's also a reflection that we are loving ourselves.
But setting boundaries doesn't mean you're not being nice to people.
That's right.
It
Yes.
just means that you're also, being kind to yourself. Because I find
Yes.
that when I do set up boundaries, people respect me more.
Yes. Yes.
Because if you don't set up boundaries, I feel like people take advantage. And we
Yeah.
let them
That's right.
take advantage. And then we become
Yeah.
sick. And then we're not able to be there 100% for all the projects. We commit to something, we cannot follow through because we can't do everything.
Yeah. If you don't set boundaries, then also, on the other hand, then we will get resentful, and then we don't know where the resentment come from, and then yes. So when we become resentful, then the way we treat other people are also going not to be nice, are going to have this resentment lingering.
So, but based on what you just said, it's like the opposite. So you were saying, which is great, I love it, because you were saying, at first when you didn't understand about boundaries, that you're like, well, I don't want to be nice to, I want to be nice to people, so I don't want to
Yes.
be, quick with them. But
Mm,
like you said, you're actually by creating boundaries, you're actually saving them from being
yes.
resentful. you're
Yes.
you're creating a better relationship essentially. So there is no reason
Yeah.
to not have boundaries. I love
That's right.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
explaining it so clearly.
Sure.
That's fantastic. So, as somebody who needs to sometimes assert herself, I'm always up for learning new things.
Mm,
So, for example, I'm okay speaking like this in a podcast format
mm.
because there's no video being used. And that's my thing. So I need to get over that. I'm learning the skills, learning the things.
Mhm,
And I'm okay speaking. I love to speak to people one on one. But when it comes
mm.
to a group and I need to present something, I get a little bit anxious. So,
Yes.
as somebody who's just starting out, I know probably you can't tell us in this short amount of time, but what would be a couple of small things that someone could do to assert their voice and to help them in those situations?
From my clients, and I realized the reason that people got anxious about and also got nervous about is because that we are thinking about um, the negative thoughts, too much negative thought about ourselves. like, oh, how would they think of me? What if I sound stupid? What if I forget what I'm going to say? What if they see that I'm not as capable? So it's all these negative thoughts that we're thinking. So instead of thinking about those negative thoughts, one of the things I ask my clients to do is to lead your mind with constructive thoughts. So the constructive thoughts are, what do I want them to take away with? What do I want the audience to take away with? And how do I want them to feel?
So if you keep the audience in mind in a different way,
Yes,
so what you're saying
that's
is
right.
if you concentrate on what I'm going to say, whether it's not perfect, it's still going to
Yes,
help somebody, and keep that as your goal.
yes, that's right. Because you notice those people who really made an impact on us, they probably speak with a lot of ahs. Sometimes their mind was not entirely clear. So, but we learned something as an audience member. So audience member will forgive you with all your ahs, with all your uh, so-called
Imperfections.
imperfection.
Yes.
Yes, when they learn something from you. So that's why that all the audience care about is, what can I learn from you?
And I think as long as you connect with your heart, that's what they will hear the loudest.
Yes, yes.
You're like my
So
Singapore sister. Like, I feel like we're on the same wavelength, you know? I love
yes,
this. I
yes,
love your messages. It's great.
yeah,
Thank you. That's a really good tip, you know? So you're an author.
yes.
Tell me about what you've written.
So I've written, one is, the first book is called Influence Through Voice. It's a step-by-step process that I lead people through to develop their powerful voice. That's the first book. And then the second book I co-wrote with 15 other women. Is called Unleash Your Voice. It's a book on public speaking. So each woman wrote a chapter from different angle. So I wrote the chapter on voice.
That's very interesting.
Yes. And then I'm writing the third book, which is talking about the different voice patterns for different personality types.
Oh, okay. So, for
Yes.
example, what would be like, I don't know, what would you categorize my personality?
So the person, yes, the person. So the personality system I use, not sure if you have heard of it, it's Enneagram.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I'm writing the voice patterns for the different Enneagram types.
Oh, okay. So
Yes,
I think it's is it number two that's a giver?
yes,
I think
yes.
I'm a
That's
number
what that.
two.
Yes, that's what I would assume.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Enneagram is like a scale. It's like there's a test that you can do online, and it'll categorize you in different personality traits, and it will explain to you, you know, things that you never put together maybe before you took the test. So if you
Yes.
haven't done that, go and do that, and then come back and talk to us because I'm really interested in some of the tools you have for number twos for
Yes.
personality trait.
Yeah. So, for example, for your voice, it's inviting. Your voice is inviting. That's one of the traits for a type 2 voice. And also, type two's voice is very, in our traditional view, it's very feminine.
Oh,
Feminine in a way that's very, very gentle, very tender. So that's the type 2
thank you.
voice. And that, yes, that's why you see that for men, they want their partners to have that type of voice.
Oh, this is good
Yes,
to
very
know.
feminine. So that's for type 2, very inviting.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You know, I'm trying to learn about myself as I do my show. So this is great.
Yes.
So Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about how it makes you feel when you do finally learn the skills to empower your voice and speak up and do all those things? How can it change someone by doing that?
First of all, for me personally, I feel that one is that I am empowered. I feel more empowered. And at the same time, it helps me my find my calling, find my mission for this life. For my clients, one is they become very confident about who they are, about also become very authentic about who they are. So I would say that that's how developing their powerful, authentic voice will help them.
And the more you recognize about who you are, I know we keep saying this, but it's so important. You know, life is so short. Let's
Mhm.
not live as a stranger to ourselves. You know,
Mm.
let's learn about ourselves so that we can figure out what we're passionate about. I'm writing an ebook right now on finding your passion and why that's important. So I'm so happy that we're talking about this today, because I do really want you know, the more you can share your gifts with the world, the better everyone will be.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, this is important work that you're doing,
Yes.
especially for
And
women. You know, I don't
yeah.
want to keep saying that, but it is. It's true. Women in so many different countries. I mean, not so much here in Canada and the States, but in a lot of these other countries, women don't feel empowered. They don't
Mm.
feel their voices are not heard, you know, in still
Yeah.
in today's world, very much so, in business. And, you know, and it's important for men as well, but I think it's very crucial that women learn these skills.
Mm. So yeah, and also our world right now needs more female leadership. Yeah. So the more reason for women to speak with their powerful voice.
And me and you, I think we're from the same generation, same age group. And
Mhm.
um, I think we're getting better at wanting to learn these things, accepting that there are things that we need to learn. The newer generation, like teenagers right now, I think that they're a lot more empowered than we were at their age. I think
Mhm.
that they are more equipped to stand up for themselves, and you know, the world changes all the time. So
Yes.
I love that when I see my son and his friends, and especially his friends that are girls, and how they stick
Mhm.
up for each other. And I think it's beautiful, you know. But I
Yeah,
do
that's
think that
good.
older people do need to, yeah. Do you agree? Do you think that the younger generation is better at it?
Yeah, they are more outspoken. Yeah. Yes.
In a good way. In a
Yes.
good way.
Yeah.
They were like that in the 60s, you know, doing all the protests, and then we kind of all died down, and now and now we've got to lift ourselves up again, you know.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to talk about today that we didn't touch on? Anything you'd like to share with us?
Everyone, we were really born for a reason. So we are lucky in a way that we have found the reason that we were born to this world with. So if you haven't found it, um, keep searching, keep searching. Yeah. So that's where I think your book will help on passion. Yeah. Find your passion. One of the ways is what you are struggling with, what what struggle you have overcome. So that's one of the channels to find it.
You know, and sometimes when we're young, we know exactly what we like. We're playing with certain things, we choose certain things, we're being innocent, we're dancing, we're singing, we're doing. Nobody has to remind us, do what you love, you
Yeah.
know. And then we stop. Like, once we become adults and we have responsibility and things are expected of us, it's like we lose ourselves. You
Yes.
know, we
Yeah.
forget what connects us, we forget what's important. So it's hard sometimes. You know, it's not as easy as just find what you love. You really have to sit down and think about and analyze it and go back to how things make you feel and
Mhm.
attach emotions, I think, to different activities, and then you can bring it together and say, oh yeah, I remember when I used to do that, how good it made me feel. Oh, this
Yeah.
too, why did I ever stop doing that?
Yeah.
you know, and I think happiness will be more abundant for sure. And people will be less lonely as well because they have more
Mm.
connection with each other. Yeah, I'm so
Yes.
glad that you're
Yeah.
seeing those results with your clients. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yes. We can all use our own talent to help another human being.
You know, you're on the other side of the world, and I feel like you're in my house, you know, like we see things so clearly and so,
Yes.
you know, aligned with one another. And I love that you're doing this work in Singapore and all these other countries that you're able to reach because honestly, as human beings, we all want the same thing.
Mm.
We
Yes.
really do. No matter
Yeah.
where we're from, no matter what we believe in, we all just want to be happy. We want our families to be healthy. We want to be able to make an impact. So I
Mm.
love it.
Yes. Me too.
So where can we find you? Because I know like you've got a big audience. So I would love to, you know, to dive into that a little bit because I
Mhm.
know that the people that are listening right now at home to my show are going to want to check you out. So if you could tell us a little bit about where we can find you for more information.
Sure. So one place is the YouTube channel. So they can go to YouTube and just search Cynthia Voice Coach. They should be able to find my channel. And so I do live streaming on the channel sometimes as well, besides the regular videos update. So that's YouTube. And they can also, of course, go to my website, powerfulexecutivevoice.com. So there they can find all kinds of other resources, articles, some of the upcoming programs, and of course, all the other social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when I went onto your website, I noticed that there was was it a 3-day course that I
Oh,
was
yeah.
looking at? What is that about?
Yes. So they can go to my website. On the homepage, they can see the 3-part free video lessons. So that's a step-by-step video series where I lead them to discover where and how they can develop the power in their voices.
Fine. I want to try that. I haven't done it yet, but I want to try that. I'll let you know what I think because I think that's a
Yes.
great skill to learn, and
Yeah.
you're a great teacher. So thank you so
Thank you.
much. I really had a great time today.
Me too. I knew I would have a great, a great time because I was listening to the different episodes, and I could feel that we are on the same lens, same
Oh,
wavelength.
I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah.
You are welcome back anytime. Anytime
Sure.
you want to add some value, this is great. It was so fantastic to meet you, and I'm honored to have you all the way from Singapore. Please,
Yeah.
please, please keep in touch with us.
Yes. Yeah. When you are in Singapore, let me know.
Oh, I would love to go to Singapore, honestly. I don't know when I will
Yes.
get there, but definitely I will touch base and maybe we can have a coffee, or I don't know if you drink coffee, but
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Cynthia. I really, really appreciate that.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe or leave a review. See you next week on the Giving Starts With You podcast.